Darya. Uh, Darya is the co-founder and CEO of Shader, which is a new AI-enhanced social camera. So Shader is a tool that simplifies how you create AR filters. So it's for content creators that are using generative AI. So there's a whole lot that goes into the technicalities of it. So I'm pretty sure that's we're gonna go into some of that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I won't go into everything, but she has a long amount of credentials and the work that she's been doing. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Darya take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm really happy today share with you guys more about AR design career, how to grow in this industry. And actually, I hope that my career path also inspire you to dive in this industry because it's still something super new. And we definitely need more AR designers who want to work together with AI to generate new cool assets. And a bit about me. First of all, as Cindy mentioned, I'm CEO and co-founder of Shader. And right now, we almost 5 months built new tool, which help designers to create a more immersive, cool AR experience. We're thinking about it, how to make it more accessible for everyone, even if you're not engineers, but really want to generate already fun AR effects. But also, I'm a product designer, and most of all my career, like last 8 years, was around AR product design. And I was a part of founding team of startup Wanna Buy. I will share with you today some story about that and how actually I start my career in product design around AR and what kind of problems and challenges usually have people who build camera experience. And last 2 years, I also work at Snapchat. We built a design tool, Lens Studio. It's a mostable tool which help you also generate AR, AI experience for a Snapchat camera. And in my free time, I'm sometimes mentor, speaker, interviewer. I really love to help startups, people to launch their product on Product Hunt. So if you're interested and need some advice as how to promote your project, ideas, all the time happy to help you with that. And part of my career is design manager. That's why I feel like everything around how to inspire designers to start learn something new and be part of new technology. It's something when I'm interested in my life. And when I think about today speech for you and thinking about more what kind of questions you will ask, what is the difference between regular UX UI designers and product designers in AR industry, I decided to write my philosophy, things which basically kind of around both type of professions, but you all the time will see a bit difference when you work with AR industry. And first of all, I'm thinking about nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. This is why I'm inspired to build camera experience, just because this is so challenging. You never know how it should be. This is not really clear user flows, because a lot of times when you build for new type of technology, you really understand that everything what you can find is just from user tests and discussions with users, with A/B tests, but you never know how it was before, because basically it's not a lot of startups or company who explore this area. And also clear experience over unpredictability. This is what I mean, that you actually need really just have your goal and estimate that that it could be complex and friction during your work on that. And for me, it's a good sign that I need really a lot of time collaborate with machine learning engineers and right now AI prompt engineers, just to make sure that all my ideas and product vision really can be possible to build and in current situations, and what I can move for a bit farther away and build it in the future. And also, my favorite part is actually that when you work in AR, you challenge yourself for every day, just in a way that, first of all, sometimes what you want to build not possible in current situation, and you need more cooperation with engineers, like I mentioned. But also, it's just because this area is so connected with absolutely new ideas, and how people collaborate with camera. You never like can predict before you give them this tool to test. And I think that my approach to work in AR design kind of like really similar to what we are doing every day, like UX UI designers. We also have research principles, user journey, design exploration. But the biggest I think like challenge for me and difference, it's this part like handoff experience with engineers. This is mean that it's not sometimes enough just to show your like prototype and Figma proposal for them. You definitely need to make sure how you can make simplicity to test something early when people build it. And I'm, for example, in this type of work, usually like use like video proposals, like make like really simple previews on Figma prototype, but also use prototype tool to make my AR experience really clear for them before we start to really build code. And around this topic, like how to grow an AR designer, I decided like just to share with you some like my case studies where I understand that it's helped me to learn a lot in this industry. And I will appreciate any questions in this moment if you decided to ask something, because I personally feel that to grow in AR designer, you need just to jump. And when I also think about this type of work, I found out that a lot of my knowledges I found when I work in startup more than when I joined really big company, because in startup you basically sometimes alone, or you just with your product and engineering teams, and you need to ground everything yourself, and main answers you all the time find just from users. And when we will talk at all about AR, I just want to like remember you how it's everything start. And actually, a lot of time people still think about AR just about filters, lenses for face recognition technology, and all this type of technology happened basically in 2016. It's almost like more than 5 years ago. And some of really famous startups who start building our first time this ML technology and AI for face recognition, actually from Eastern Europe. I'm originally also from Belarus. That's why probably I really early start work on that. A lot of our really talented engineers start build companies like Masquerade, Luxury, iMatter, and something magical happens that a lot of this startup was acquired by Meta, by Snapchat, by Google, and was my one of the motivation to start work on first startup. We see the story how right now world really crazy around filters, and the interesting to explore explore like how to communicate with your face in a new way, like generate effects in real time in a camera. But everything, all this like ideas was just for fun in that moment. And my company, when we start with basically with my friends, just built Wannaby, we decided to take a look on the landscape and think about it. Okay, like we have like a bunch of cool startups around furniture, appliances. Big companies already had been here, like you probably remember, like IKEA, who built application to see how your room can look with already existent furniture, but just with 3D models. Also, face recognition was popular around cosmetics brands like Sephora, L'Oreal. They started adding their apps also AR technology to try on makeup. And full body was kind of really early. It's right now, for example, we have already a lot of awesome startups who build try-on technology for clothes, but it's possible right now more with all technical changes. But around hands and feet, we decided in this moment that it could be a better approach just to jump on this story and try to generate first try-on technology just for hands and feet, like sneakers, accessories. It was something between. And this is actually still for me a great lesson that if you see your main goal, like make full body try-on technology in the future, you can find something between to be kind of close to that in your development. And first product, which I designed in 2018 as a designer around AR, it was actually at all not about even like accessorize. My team, when we discussed the story, we just understand that we can change color of some objects, but what could be great objects to make the story more viral and give users to explore how it could be more try-on technology. And we decided to make something so simple, just change colors of your nails with the camera and explore how users use world camera when they need to show your hand in the camera immediately, and also just together with selfie view. And as you see here, like we have really great results. We win some competition in Product Hunt, have a great results on install solo app, something organic, some partially with marketing budget. Really like fashion brands and companies wrote about us. We even make like collaboration with brand Orly, nail polish brand, to integrate the stack and their technology. And Apple feature us also like one of the good example of tech, but for sure it was super small market and not a lot of money to survive for startup around nail polish technology. But already in this moment, I learned a lot about design principles and what kind of challenge we will have in the future. First of all, I understand that for users, basically when you work with camera, it's not enough just to take a look something. If it's connected to main idea to buy it after that, they probably want to learn more about this product. That's why like I design solutions when I explore what if we can read a description about products, some more cards about options to buy in virtual stores. In this moment, we use Amazon like example just to A/B test it. And another moment, what I learned just with this simple app that we basically our team spent a lot of time just to make every color look similar, like in nail polish bottle. And kind of it was really great challenge for us. We tried to be more realistic and make everything as much as more possible like in real life. But when we give this product for users, we found out that they sometimes more this experience more fun and more kind of cartoony and more animated than realistic. And this is basically shows me that in the future, we can combine these two ideas, be realistic, but also implement something more magical on this experience, because users still understand that it's of course not reality. And I want to from this different reality, more cool experience than in reality. And last point, it was really hard educate users even to show your phone camera, not for the face, not for the selfie in this moment. It was something really confusing. And even right now, I think when we still work with AR, you need to use a lot of hints. For example, here, I really record some animations and basically like preview videos, how to show your hand in a camera. And it helps our users to educate them. And I hope that now already with new technology, and when we use more and more AR, it starts to be really more simple. Sometimes we don't need all these hints, or just need them just in the first screen when you use this product. And after this story with nail polish, my team decided to jump on something more interesting and more like helpful for users. We decided to try make not just colors, but real shapes, 3D models. And we focused on the technology around sneakers try-on. First of all, actually, because we research a lot business market and understand that it's around sneakers industry. It's big culture. A lot of really people who like trying to find best kicks are in this month, and this is motivate us to build product for really specific audience, but also just to test at all this idea. What if we can try on something in a camera before we will buy it? Is it make sense or not make sense? And like this startup was already in this moment with some funding, and we spent more time on design development of this story. And for sure, even if you work with camera with AR, you should be close to the brands who already use your audience. That's why I really spend a lot of time in this moment to analyze what kind of product Love Sneaker has, how usually look their interface, how they buy shoes online, and what could be different for them when they will start use our camera app with try-on technology. And after that, we basically, I still think that it was like mid-5 prototype, which we decided to launch because this app was so simple, but already with some interesting points which help us to understand how audience communicate with AR. First of all, what I learned before with even nail polish app, that carousel interface, when you just swipe lenses, filters, works really good just for simple effects. But if you need to make decision about try something more complicated like shoes, you need to really like marketplace, like more feed structure of the page. That's why we decided to design a bit different way of camera. And we have like feed with option to choose your favorite type of sneakers. Even later, we implement filters here. And after that, users join to the story when they can read description of the model and take a photo of the shoes. And this is also, remember me, really interesting moment in our career, like launch of this startup. We didn't have a chance to implement for the first version option to record video. And just because it's basically was expensive and we have a small team of engineers, we decided to launch first version just with take a snap and share in social media. And immediately in social media, I already saw that users make just screencasts. They really want more videos than just photo with digital shoes. And it will be for me a great sign that we need to make prioritization of this feature to make our story even more successful and grow our product. With the time, basically we build a stack and implement technology in some really cool brands. Like we collaborate with Gucci, with Adidas, with Snapchat camera. And with this time, I also learned that AR, it's not all the time should be main part of the camera. For example, when we give users option to try on shoes, they also still want to take a look regular photos or explore 3D models of the shoes and make options to zoom out, take a look really deep how it looks, each detail of the sneakers. That's why like last updates which we add during my work at Wannabuy, it was the idea that AR should be just one of the part of all marketing experience and shopping experience in our product. And yeah, as I mentioned, like was really inspiring story for me, that you can start something from scratch or have just crazy ideas that what if users wanna try on shoes with camera and they buy it. And most of all, it was of course really like deep communication with machine learning engineers and a lot of work how to make these 3D models of shoes really realistic and as much as more possible tasty and fancy to share them in social media. And it helps us to build really good connections with brands who really support technology and make with them together successful use cases. And after that, after also my time in Snapchat, last year, I decided to start like a new company and thinking about what could inspire AR, AI people start to create more design solutions for mobile apps. Because actually it's really still complicated and still require a lot of knowledge to create these ideas. That's why we start with my co-founder just with the thinking, what if we can make it for people who less engineering and still want to create AR? And now, like me and Chris, we focus on our startup full time already. Both of us have most of our experience in last 5 years. Chris work in Microsoft and Oculus. I'm from Snapchat and Wannabe. And when we met, we just found out like that with our experience in different companies, we still have same insight about audience, that today it really takes really long time to create even basic effect. And the main audience of AR, like filters, lenses, first of all, still so young. It's Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and for them, really actually complicated that we need PC or notebook to create these first solutions. And we don't have in the world right now any mobile solution to generate effects in real time. And second moment that you need combination of engineering, 3D artists, product design skills. For example, at Snapchat, when I used to work, we spent like really like development. We have a team who can come help me to generate what I really wish. But I understand that for user who is like alone, they still want to generate their ideas, and they need for this technological help to make it. And we don't have any cross-platform AI creation solution. If you before generate something for Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, you understand that for each of these platform, you need their own platforms to generate these effects, like Lens Studio, Spark AR, or Effect House by TikTok. And also, like we have, for example, Unity, it all like next level of generation effects, where it's really hard onboarding process for a person who starts learning from scratch. That's why like we right now focus on what if you can start just in mobile, and in our creation tool powered by ML, you can basically write your prompt and you'll see the results after some seconds. And here's like a GIF, which actually right now, like last month in May, we finished some of our demo results. And of course, like a lot of our filters still looks not polished. We have problems with lips and nose, but I feel such like happy about that, because I know that this is first steps, and we with time we will educate and help our AI system like really explore everything better. And we're just in the first steps to build this technology. But in our big vision, we want to first of all focus on instant creation. Now we have problems that even like 10-15 seconds to wait to see the results, it's too long for users. And of course they can do that if they love the result, but our like ambitious idea that we want to make it instantly and increase this time, make it really polished and great after just some seconds. And second moment, also we explore what if you can not just type, but can pronounce your idea? You can say, for example, generate for me a cyberpunk mask, or change my outfit, or add some background with flowers. And AI already understands what exactly you mean and will make it for you in real time. Of course, like when you start build something from scratch, it's also the idea that you should understand what exactly possible in this month. And I love for startup design work in a way that you basically think just some weeks, and after some weeks you understand what should be next again. And in March this year, we just have, for example, image generation options to like, it still was a lot of work around that just to make every photos looks like our real users. And after that, in April, we start show this product for users, open our Discord community, and collect their results and ideas, what they start generate. And also we implement world camera, as you see here. So we give options for users, not just update themselves, but also generate new type of photos for everything what they can catch. And last piece in May, as I mentioned before, we already learned that how we can make this mesh and attachments of AI objects to your real face. And this is just first like engineering demo basically, and a lot of still design work, how to explain users how to make first capture, and after that try on this experience, record videos, or use this idea for, I don't know, like really cool messages for your friends and inspire them. And during this work, we also start to understand that we need a lot of research, more engineering research, technical, but also for sure thinking a lot about how we can implement it later in the product. First of all, we're thinking about filter relighting in our product. So we want to make all our results as much as more possible realistic and fun. That's why we will implement and show users their first AI results, but after that gives them options to have more complex settings inside of that. And we start to explore how we can make full body results. Face recognition, it's also was chosen by me after really deep research, what could be more, first of all, engagement for users, and what is motivates them to share that, how they can communicate with camera. And face technology all the time was #1 for AR. And after that, it's already like world generation and generation when you can change objects, like this example with Fun Robot. That's why, like, basically in product design work, it's a lot of time just also thinking about roadmap, what I need to right now make and later, because your ideas sometimes you can stop your creation process and you just need to understand like around user search, where I should spend more my time. And yeah, like in attraction, we right now are in a way that we basically, after this 6 months of work on this project, have already like first 300 users. It's really a small community of waitlisted people who is our Discord guys who test product every day with us. And it helps me to verify my next ideas, which we are going to launch a bit later with already this AI mesh magic, where we're working right now on design paths. And also I'm thinking like around design work, you really sometimes should pay attention and more business approaches where your product can be in the future with a helpful piece for the this technology. And for sure, like I mentioned for you just like story about B2C, how we're right now thinking about growing community, gives this story to test first early adopters. But my ideal story is that I want to give this tool as a collaboration with already existing AR design tools, for example, with Lens Studio, Unity, Unreal, Effect House, and make it like SDK integration. It means that if you just are already like designer or 3D artist, but you want to generate really easily some effects just with your phone, like here, for example, you can make with the phone circle, write your prompt, make it like a basketball ball, and after that airdrop your item in other design tools. This is where we right now also focus on, to thinking about this collaboration and plugin integration. And also, like, I'm trying to like just research a lot with what companies right now really deep on AR who love this technology and want to like inspire their users to build something new in AR. And for example, Gucci, Tiffany, Farfetch, IKEA, as for me, they like some of their companies who's not in the tech, but really inspire their users to use a lot of tech. And this type of companies can be interesting to them to work together. And for sure, like we have our like special piece in the market, but we have competitors. And I think like we kind of right now shader in way a bit have our own space, because some of the companies like Anything World, Genie, Sketchar, they're still just in the web platforms. They're really simple and cool to use, but this is still barriers for users to start use them sometimes. And we are focused most of all just on mobile experience and give this option to create something even you are not home, or you're, for example, in Coachella Festival, or you're visiting your friends somewhere, and you need exactly particular story to generate it and share in social media or just with your friends, and you will have these options to create it instantly in a phone. And some other companies like Runway ML, Dog Coherence, really love what they're working also. They focus most of all on post-capture experience. It means that less AR, it's more about when you already have video, you can upload it and update it with filters or with AI technology. But how to make it in real time, this is so unique story, because we thinking about it, how actually camera can inspire you to create. What if I, first of all, see something with my shader camera, and after that start to record? And yeah, in the end, I just mentioned, like, this is some example of what users right now create and shader, how they use our tech with just photo generation in a phone. I'm excited that really soon we will share with them already this AI mask generation, which I shared with you early. But I love that photo generation results also looks pretty fun sometimes, and it helped me to learn also something new. That first of all, I thought before that we're building design tool, and shader it's kind of like new type of Canva, Figma, but for AR. But when we launch this product and see the user results, I start to understand also that it's a lot of just about new type of language communication. Like, for example, before we have Giphy, or or we have like Memoji, Bitmoji. But what if I can share my idea just with camera and with instantly prompt and have something immediately fun? And this is just some of the examples, but young audience, a lot of times they generate a lot of like things which I never thought if I will not see how they make it. For example, one of our users some days ago, she generated like allergic reaction, and her idea was that I want to like prank my grandmother, that I don't want to go to school because I'm sick. And this is also shows me like how they can be creative, what kind of new ways to use our product can be. Yeah, and thank you for watching me. Super appreciate your like feedbacks, and feel free to use our product in shaderapp.com website. You can find our Discord when you can test our first experiments on this industry.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much, Darya. Before you go, like, do you have time for like a question or two?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to invite everybody to post questions in the chat. I don't see any in the chat right now, but I do have a question or two. Your journey as an entrepreneur, what would you change looking back? Is there anything that you would change in your journey as, with design, with this technology that you've been working with?
Yeah, I think like entrepreneur, it's completely new journey to compare with design work. But I think like I really believe that product designers who start build something like startup founders, this is big plus for me. Just because, for example, this first month of our startup, when we don't have any fundraising and just bootstrap like a business, it helps me to build a lot of prototypes, design just myself, and collaborate with engineers, and basically be like mini studio in our house, and understand that everything what in my brain I can make like real just on Figma and prototype. And I'm still believe that I want to touch pixels as much as possible in my journey, but for sure, like next steps when you already start growing, it's just learn a lot of new stuff. It's like how to make go-to-market strategy, how to be great manager for people. And this is what I'm right now. I'm basically still design a lot, but also learn a lot of new moments around management, collaboration, hiring people, how to pay salary for people, and everything on this way. But it's a big plus, I feel, for a lot of folks who's a product and product designers, that you can basically create your idea yourself and inspire by that people who will join you in the future.
Yeah. So, I mean, I that That sounds like a huge leap. I mean, I know that when I first started my agency journey and then,
Mhm.
scaling, and all of a sudden it wasn't just me that was creating the things, all of a sudden there were people. What resources are you using as you're learning all these new things that come into running a technology company?
Um, to be honest, like first of all, it's just community. Like I feel like I really believe that like Slack's channels, like we, for example, have here right now, or like I've joined a lot of like just community about founders, designers, design founders, and Slack channels and Discord community, Twitter help me to learn every day a lot about what's going on in the market. And I feel like also really helped me just meet with people personally, like one-to-one, like every week, have this opportunity in your calendar to catch up with new founders or with people who built something really impressive on and posted on LinkedIn, on Twitter. This is how I usually explore world and understand what it should be next. And communication with users, like it's actually really um, sometimes hard because you have your schedule, you have like a lot of just to do tasks every day. But I'm trying to add in my calendar every week like some meetings with people who take a look my product and with fresh eyes will give me feedback. And usually during this conversation, I find out something new all the time about new tools, what they use to generate AR, for example, or like how they right now thinking about AI. And this is you just need to have like your document when you will add all these notes to think about what should be next for you, like a founder to explore.
Is there anything that comes to mind as you're thinking back on all those conversations that like maybe was an aha moment about how people are thinking about AI and using it, something that you were like, I didn't know that.
Um, yeah, I mean, like around image generation, for example, I also like learn a lot. First of all, that if we talk with less technical audience, and for example, younger audience, it's big difference between even Gen Z and Gen Alpha. A lot of like folks who is like we right now start focus on, they sometimes don't know about Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, Stability AI companies. They never create before images with prompts, and they look at this a bit different way, like fresh eyes when they make it in a phone. And first of all, they don't generate really long prompts. They use super simple, short ideas, like I want to be Batman. And how they wrote even this hint, it's also motivate me to think that if it's really short, how we can make more specific, how we can help them with more like clear understanding what they really want. And I'm right now exploring the idea that basically we want to add a lot of templates, but maybe even users don't need just templates. Maybe we need to use kind of tool tips. If I wrote one phrase, what could be next? Like maybe our AI can help you to understand that if you want to be like princess in the forest, do you want to add flowers or do you want to like add leaves? And this is really interesting design like type of work that you just basically together with AI engineers thinking like about type of communication and design, how we can inspire people create new ideas together with our tech.
Yeah, it sounds,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, I totally interrupted you. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's why like I'm a person who really believes that AI can help with a lot of technical problems which we had before, like with more like this type of work when we just care about pixels and how it could be really connected to the objects, but it still will help it really help users to more open their mind and brain to generate something more specific and fun. And this is where I want to like focus most of all right now in shaders. That if you're a less technical person, but you have the idea, you can generate it with prompts. But still, I want to save for them option to modify these objects. if they want to be more technical, and after that, for example, airdrop or move these 3D objects in their own computer programs and start more like have hands-on experience with assets.
Yeah. A couple things come to mind there, right? Like, there's back when I started designing, it was all about like the full mock-up and you presented that, right? But it's been this movement toward, away from just templates into giving more user control and freedom and having it all be object-oriented type design, right? Where you're just doing the pieces. And the other thing that came to mind was this choose your own adventure kind of piece, right? Where you have it there and you get to choose, do I want to or not? And it becomes this kind of decision tree that you follow down, and it could be completely something unique based on like what decisions you make along the way. And it sounds really fascinating in terms of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the AR, it's also all the time about motion. Sometimes just what kind of VFX you will add for that. It's changed completely story about this. And now for sure, like we are like Shader, it's really early on this story, but I already see what like Runway ML company built on that, or Snapchat lens camera. It's a lot of times design which more close to like just VFX motion design, and more complexity, but really a lot of already like pre-built work in the world which we can use to educate AI to make it more fascinating and easy to build in the future. Yeah. And of course, we're inspired by Apple right now. Like I know a lot of AR creators, developers, I think we live this last 5 years with feelings that people kind of disappointed by AR because of VR cases. And this is what we heard a lot, that is it future? No. But after like some weeks ago when Apple launched Vision Pro, I think it started to be more clear that we're still going in this direction. And for sure, we are really early, and first version of Apple Vision Pro is also so simple. It's less about gaming, less about change environment. It's more about present what we already have on the phone, but it's completely like clear that it helps us to build next version later. And usually if you're like entrepreneur or product designer, I think it's really important to think about this like 5-year future to build right now in a ways that what could be next later.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting, everything that's going on. Thank you so much for speaking today. We really appreciate you and your time.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
too, for awesome questions.
of course.